On the nomination or certification for the Democratic side to official candidates, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Shortly after 2 this afternoon, the Guam Election Commission Board met to certify all congressional, senatorial, mayoral, vice mayoral, and nonpartisan results for the 2012 primary election from all 58 precincts. In the Guam delegate race, Democratic incumbent Madeline Berdalio advances to the general election with 7,866 votes, beating out Carlo Dazan, who received 2,829 votes. Republican Senator Frank Blas Jr. also advances with 5,301 votes to challenge Berdalio. Meanwhile, independent candidate Jonathan Diaz only received 86 votes. All 15 senatorial candidates for the Democrats will be in the general election. The top 5 include Dennis Rodriguez Jr., Frank Uggan Jr., Tom Atta, Tina Muñoz-Barnes, and B.J. Cruz. Adolfo Palacios and Judy Guthertz placed the lowest out of the incumbents, while Gary Gumatautau and Ben Tovis were in the bottom 2. On the Republican senatorial ticket, Mo Cotton will be the only one not advancing to the general election. The top 5 Republican candidates include newcomers Tommy Morrison and Mike Limtiaco, followed by incumbents Tony Atta, Chris Duenas, and Mona Silva-Tyron. Sam Mabini received the lowest votes out of the incumbents. The nonpartisan race for the public auditor also shows incumbent Doris Forrest Brooks with 14,472 votes, while write-in candidate Carl Gutierrez received 4,842 votes. Both move forward to the November general election. Aside from certifying all the results, the GEC board addressed 2 administrative complaints that were filed during the primary election. One complaint came out of Precinct 17 in Tamuning. A person complained he was not allowed to wear his political t-shirt inside the polling site. Board member Chris Carrillo says GEC has determined it was a form of electioneering, which is not allowed.
There is a law that prevents electioneering inside 100 feet of the polling site. And it's the board's determination that that's electioneering, and that's how we're handling that.
The other complaint came out of Precinct 3 in Petey, and the person, later identified as independent candidate Jonathan Diaz, claimed there was an insufficient number of write-in slots for the independent column, an absence of sample ballots, and not being allowed to use a provisional ballot. Board member Martha Ruth called Diaz's comments confusing and frivolous.
I would say this was pretty frivolous on his part to file an administrative complaint regarding the office for which he is running, under which column his name appears.
His charge that it wasn't free and fair for his race is false, because the ballots were designed, all the columns were designed the same way.
Ruth also asked Executive Director Maria Pangilinan what was the single most encountered problem during the primary election. She said on the operations side, it was the lack of phone lines and people answering calls. She says she'll be able to generate numbers on how many more lines are needed to accommodate all 58 precincts in the coming days.
I'm going to figure out, based on 58 precincts, 58 people calling us in, and looking at the logbooks. And at this point, I can't tell you a good number, but I will be able to in about a week.